friends right now are out dating and partying, are you willing to say, hey, I'm going to sacrifice those hours now? I'm 2 years away from being at a point where I can kind of relax. Whereas your other peers, they've already mastered whatever they have going on. That's not to say that they're not successful. It's just that they're maybe they're doing something that didn't take the same amount of time. So now they're indulging, living, partying, or whatever that is. And I always default to party. Yeah. It could be they're already buying businesses. They're already lucrative. They're already investing. And you're like, I'm not going to be able to make any investments for another 3 to 5 years. Right. It's not what it looks like, son.
Yeah.
Stay the course.
I like the party analogy because I was definitely one of those, because of the route that I took in school.
Yeah.
I went, didn't do what I was supposed to do. When I got a real job, so I had to have a real job and go to school full time.
Right.
So it was more, I appreciated it more with number one, I was paying for it. Number two, I was sacrificing time. I wasn't everywhere that my friends were.
Right.
But they had actually gone, they took the 4-year route. I took the 7-year route.
Yeah.
So that analogy, and when you said party was your default, I like that as an analogy because everybody at the party with similar activities everybody's not celebrating. It all looks the same. Some people are drinking away the pain. Some people are trying to forget, like they want to stay in that moment so long because they don't want to go back outside because it was waiting for them outside. Then you got the people that I just achieved this thing.
Right.
I'm celebrating because I put the work in. I did the sacrifice and all that. So you got to be mindful of mimicking behaviors when you didn't earn the reward.
They tried to count me out. I'ma gon' count me in. Fill up my bank account. Now I got something to spend.
We live?
We live.
Clock rolling.
That's gonna be the new thing.
And welcome to the Dear Son Show, where we have meaningful conversations. You thought I was going to steal D. John's intro, didn't you? But I won't. When Jay Black is driving, the intro is going to be where we're actively in real time eliminating the I wish I knew then what I know now. Well, son, you do, because we told you. I'm one of your co-hosts, James Johnson, a.k.a. Jay Black.
Jay Black tonight. I got this D. Johnson, my other host. I like that, man. You threw me because I was like, if you didn't understand what that dynamic was, he's working his way into what his intro is. Yeah. Right. I kind of pushed him out there like, yo, intro on a few episodes back. He was like trying to say what I said. Yeah. But I say what I say because I've been saying it.
Yep.
So I like that,
so
man.
We got that.
We taking that excuses. Taking that excuse out. I like it.
It's gone. How you feeling? What you got going? What your week look like?
I feel great.
Good.
I feel great. Had we're on the cusp of a win with the corporate client. I've done some work for one department, and now the president, I'll just say that because I'll leave the names out, but the president that department reports to is new.
Yeah.
To that system. It was like, hey, I saw what you did over there. Come do it for me.
Yeah.
So we're about to talk about that, and that would be a major. That'd be a big sign.
I like it.
Big sign. For those that don't know, I exited corporate at the time of this recording probably 8 months ago, 7-8 months ago, and have been working to build this media platform that this is on, but also a media company that does work for other clients.
Yes, Lord.
Because it just makes sense. So
just makes sense.
I'm not looking to shoot any music videos or anything like that, but if you got a corporate client or corporate deed, I'll let Johns & Co. Productions. We'll get you right.
Get you right. Speaking of Johns & Co. Productions, don't sleep on we have another Johns in the building.
Yeah.
With a camera C, as we call it.
Yeah.
So up and coming. I like it.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, we mentioned it in another episode, but I don't know, depending on the airing of this one, but I don't want to call him Lil D. Johns because I don't want to diminish the brother, but
he might be running. I know technically he's DJ or
Lil D. Johns. That work for you? Don't do Lil D. Johns. He told me no. So we're just gonna run with to be continued on camera C. But I like that. So practice what you preach. I like that because now we talk so much about, I think that's one of the things makes us genuine. We talk so much about we're not perfect. We're trying to figure this thing out as we go. So how that make you feel? Like, I see my son has an interest in something.
Mm-hmm.
I made it available. And now here he is. What you got?
Yeah, I'm very critical of myself, not because I don't think I'm a good person or a good father, but I'm very aware, and we shared on this platform to help people maybe avoid the ruts that we got into as fathers. But it was something that I didn't want to force. When I saw him pick those classes for school, like I didn't sit down with him and say, hey, what about this? He's like, hey, I'm taking, I think he had 2 that were related, one AV class and one somewhere in the content creation capacity.
Oh, yeah.
His 10th grade year, he's going to the 11th grade. And he actually has been on the shoot before. We were able to shoot a comedy show that came to Dallas through my relationship with my studio partner. And he was able to get on the camera then. But I'm always, we talked about it before, kind of don't want to be that force.
Right.
Like, do this if it's not really interesting to you. And that can go one or two ways. But
right.
I want it to be genuine.
Yeah.
Right? So, and the other part of it is asking for the help that's upstairs or next door. Like the primary struggle in my mind about this podcast, this platform, is what I got to do.
Right.
And I'll sit there and think about it, spend more time thinking about it than I should when I could be actively getting stuff done or asking for help.
Asking for help.
So there's that. But yeah, salute to my son is on the camera, giving y'all another perspective of Studio H.
See, it's working. And without fail, I kid you guys not. I have to keep saying this. We do not write a script, but I know it happens so seamlessly. Mm. We'll talk about something, and before you know it, it segues right into something else.
Yep.
Tonight's topic, if you will, is dear son, this ain't what it looked like.
This ain't what it looked like.
And I said it the way I said it. As a gremlin student, graduate, I don't know what he calls himself, don't try to pick that apart that I said, this ain't what it looked like. But you heard what I said, Southern University. So, dear son, this ain't what it looks like. So, to your point, you do this. You're in the audio video space. You record, studio-based, content creator. So for your son to now have that interest, show that interest without you pushing him into it, the son, this ain't what it looked like. He gets a front row seat to what it takes to actually survive in that space, thrive in that space. Speak to that a little bit for us. Like, what does that do? How does that help you in your approach? Maybe some of the procedures or processes you have.
Yeah, I like how you frame this, son. This ain't what it looks like. Is like we're fixated on end products.
Yes.
Right. And we have, some of us have an opinion of what it took to get there, and some of us don't care because we just want the end product.
Right.
But I am very open to him seeing every part of it so that he understands it and is able to maybe drill down into what aspect of it he likes. Or maybe he wants the whole thing.
Right.
I've heard him talk about audio engineering.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I would love to hand that off, and that'd be his role in what we're trying to do. I will say that he communicates way more interest than I push, or opportunity than the opportunities that I push.
Right.
And that's another thing that, I'm still working through in terms of not just asking for help, but not forcing some things. But this one is clear. So I'm grateful that he'll be able to see and make an informed decision.
Right.
Because by the time he finishes high school, maybe he doesn't want this.
Maybe.
But it won't be for not putting in effort. That's what I can't do.
Right.
When we talk about school, we talk about basketball, like, you control effort.
Absolutely.
If your effort only yields this result, then we deal with that.
Yeah.
Figure out is there a different way to approach it, or is this your capacity in this particular area?
Right.
Like, I'm cool with that, but just the whole, I'm not gonna put forth effort because I'm just not. Nah.
Which there's 3 takeaways that we'll be visiting in this episode. My first takeaway is built around exactly what you just said. Son, that person that you see at the top of his game, no matter what that is, sports, business, money, music, entertainer, I don't care what it is, you're seeing a finished product or a progressed product at least because they've done something well enough to be in front of you to get that notoriety. That person you see in that space, that's not where they started. That's this ain't what it looks like. How many years did it take? How much training did it take? How much practice perhaps did it take? How much networking did this person have to do? So the importance of looking at a framed picture. You don't know what that photographer did to get that shot. You don't know if he propped it, some editing, some assistance, somebody threw something in there, or the lighting. I have to wait until 5:05 p.m. so that the sun is sitting in a certain. You don't know what it took to get to that point. I want to be a photographer, and you pick up that camera and you're just clicking buttons. So be mindful of, this is what I'm looking at. What did it take to get there?
Right.
So what do you feel like our generation, when we're talking to our sons, when we're talking to our children, this goes to another point. I want to speak on sacrifice. You know, I've heard you say 3 episodes ago that our children are in a generation of what you refer to as a microwave.
Mm-hmm.
They want everything right now.
Yeah.
If I try it, I'm supposed to be good at it right now. I don't care if I've never done it a day in my life. If I pick up this basketball, I'm Kobe Bryant right now.
Right.
See what I did right there? Because I know you said that was.
I mean, that was appropriate.
Follow the show, you know what I mean. So
way more appropriate than anybody else.
So dealing with that, where do you feel about an approach? How do we talk to our sons about not leaning so much on that microwave feeling that they have of everything's instantaneous, as opposed to the build up, the sacrifice?
So we're actually very relevant scenario that's happening right now where it was a question of effort, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certain subjects in school, son takes to.
Yeah.
He takes to it, gets some traction, pure rocket ship,
Yeah.
right? It may take some motivation, some things may have to be stripped to get his focus.
Right.
But we had a recent occurrence where he wasn't getting the results in one class that he was getting in the others. I had to be mindful of my microwave expectations.
Ooh-wee.
Because if you're doing it over here, for certainly,
it's
absolutely,
yeah,
this is all you.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. I need help." I ain't know how to process it. I'm
right.
like, wait, because I don't ask for help.
Right.
So I have to be conscious often about projecting I'll just figure it out on my children.
Yes.
I think it's a great skill to be resourceful and figure stuff out. Sometimes you need help.
You do.
Right. So this one is actually, that's not what you asked, but the application is, I had more of a microwave expectation because of what I thought would be applied, because of what I saw everywhere else, because I saw the results. Right. And I honestly didn't ask him if, hey, did you study 15 hours in these other classes?
Right.
Or did it just come?
Right.
So
that's
now,
a good question.
Now we've identified an area where I have expectations that I've generalized, and I haven't drilled down into the specifics of where the struggle is.
Right.
So again, I didn't exactly ask me that, but that's kind of the application I have in real time right now, that parents be mindful of. Just because you're good at something, or you think they're good at something like you were, adjust your expectations to find out where you need those 10,000 hours.
Man, that's priceless. Because to piggyback on that a little bit, also dealing with sacrifice, be mindful of how you feel in the moment of the sacrifice. does that sacrifice feel overly, excruciatingly depriving? You know what I mean? Because now you can sacrifice to get better at something or to obtain something, right? But if during that sacrifice you're questioning the existence of that thing, you're questioning your passion for this thing. Do I really want this? Do I really want to do this? Do I want to have this? Do I care about this on this level that I'm putting myself through this in order to say or have whatever that thing is?
Yeah.
So like you said about the microwave expectation of a parent, same thing. Like, how frustrating is it to sit there and watch your child go through this sacrifice?
Yeah.
And then you're not asking the right questions. And the question, trying to find the right question could be as simple as, this wasn't the path we were supposed to be on in the first place. We thought it was. It sounded good. I was so excited to hear my son say he wanted to be a doctor.
Right.
But then now, as we're pursuing that, and we actually realize this not really for you, son. Right. You hate it. You're miserable, or whatever the case is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So being mindful of where that sacrifice puts you, because it's part of the process. A lot of people, again, this ain't what it looked like. What does the sacrifice look like for a person that's uberly successful?
So one thing that an aha moment, as you were just saying that is it actually their sacrifice? Like, are you just applying a method? Again, we talk about that handed down. This is what worked for me.
Right.
So surely it's gonna work for you.
Right.
You're creating a sacrifice that they don't even connect with.
Boy.
You're calling a restriction a sacrifice. They're not, but it's not connecting with them on a level that actually makes them desire the goal more.
Right.
Or
right.
put in the effort and do more for that goal. Is no, I just don't have this thing.
Right.
It's not sacrifice. I just no longer have this thing or this privilege. So I know that take doesn't work with every child.
It doesn't.
Oh, you do this? Give me that.
Right.
You did. Give me that. Now, sometimes you'll find the thing that really you'll find the tap dance buttons for that nerve. It's like, oh, God, gotcha. Yeah. It's already in my room. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. But that's something to be mindful of. If like taking for the sake of taking or restricting for the sake of, and I get it from a discipline perspective, but let's make sure that they understand that this thing is really a sacrifice.
Please.
And they act accordingly.
Right. Because that's key. Because again, if whether you had it or someone took it away from you, if your productivity doesn't move, then again, it was a waste.
Yeah, it's just gone. It's not a sacrifice.
It's a waste. I'm gonna take these shoes away from you.
Right.
If I had them shoes, I was gonna be the same at this anyway. So that leads to a two things. Speaking on sacrifice as well, time management, relationship. That sacrifice could be, hey, my other friends right now are out dating and partying. Are you willing to say, hey, I'm gonna sacrifice those hours now? I'm 2 years away from being at a point where I can kind of relax. Whereas your other peers, they've already mastered whatever they have going on. That's not to say that they're not successful. It's just that they're maybe they're doing something that didn't take the same amount of time. So now they're indulging, living, partying, or whatever that is. And I always default to party. Yeah. It could be they're already buying businesses. They're already lucrative. They're already investing. And you're like, I'm not going to be able to make any investments for another 3 to 5 years. Right. Are you willing to sacrifice that time so that once you do start making those types of investments, you're actually in a position to do it and do it well and sustain? That's the portion that I'm hoping that we as parents are trying to help our sons or daughters as well understand that fight through. This looks like you're failing, perhaps.
Yeah.
This ain't what it looked like, son. I look up and all my friends are getting ahead right now. They buying houses, they buying cars. I don't have anything. It's not what it looks like, son.
Yeah.
Stay the course.
I like the party analogy because I was definitely one of those, because of the route that I took in school.
Yeah.
I went, didn't do what I was supposed to do, went and got a real job. So I had to have a real job and go to school full time.
Right.
So it was more, I appreciated it more with number one, I was paying for it. Number two, I was sacrificing time. I wasn't everywhere that my friends were.
Right.
But they had actually gone, they took the 4-year route. I took the 7-year route.
Yeah.
So that analogy, and when you said party was your default, I like that as an analogy because everybody at the party with similar activities everybody's not celebrating. It all looks the same. Some people are drinking away the pain. Some people are trying to forget, like they want to stay in that moment so long because they don't want to go back outside because it was waiting for them outside. Then you got the people that I just achieved this thing.
Right.
I'm celebrating because I put the work in. I did the sacrifice and all that. So you got to be mindful of mimicking behaviors when you didn't earn the reward.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
You're practicing. You're good at celebrating.
Yeah.
You're amazing at celebrating.
Professional.
But what do you have to celebrate?
Yeah.
And that triggered a thought in me, as you said, that this ain't what it looks like, son. What about relationships? What about this is the physical type that I'm supposed to have or be attracted to? This is the popular physical attribute or image that if I obtain this,
that's the goal.
I'm on. You see what I got?
Yeah, that's the
you
win.
You see her.
Yeah.
But she treats you like trash.
Yeah.
She treat herself like trash.
That part.
She don't know how to love herself. So she absolutely won't know how to love you.
Yeah.
But outside looking in, boy, that boy sure got him one, don't he?
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he?
You can win at the wrong game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Winning, typically when you got the thing, you got the result.
Yeah.
The result isn't always right or honorable or appropriate. But I mean, it's that is a fear of being able to discern attraction from after the then what after the attraction.
Yeah.
I like this, but do I have to have it? Is it appropriate for me? How is it going to affect my life? Does it represent me? And it's not. This is not a holier than thou conversation because I think I said it before. There's a stretch in every man's life where one thing matters more than anything else.
That's a fact.
And you're willing to, yeah, I know. This one I'm about to do is going to be stupid.
But I'm doing this.
This one I'm about to do is absolutely going to be, I see it. But also this aesthetic, I gotta pursue it. I gotta experience it. So that is a,
yeah.
I don't have the answer for that one. I really don't.
No one does.
I really don't. But that's something I desire is that I give them that tool, demonstrate that tool and how I'm pursuing things in life that attraction and alignment are different.
Think about that. Think about in our society, everybody, we all want success.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it takes us years to realize our personal definition of success. Because that's the mistake.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with success. The problem is whose measuring stick are you going by? Because now the wrong measuring stick will have you feeling like your whole life was a failure.
Yeah.
Right? So because you're looking at your life through someone else's lens, it's always cloudy.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at your own life through your own lens, your own goals and aspirations, right? So now things are starting to shape up and clear up. So now you're starting to feel successful.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's say you're going off somebody else's measuring stick. This guy has 4 6-figure vehicles.
Mm.
You have 3 of these, 2 of these. You do this, you travel this way, you fly personal and private, whatever the case is. Things that are typically viewed as successful or you're operating on a high level. So this ain't what it looked like though. How much rest am I getting? How much maintaining does that require from me?
Right.
How often am I around my wife and children? Because I have dates that I'm flying all over the country. It's fun to sit and map it out. But even in music, you hear rappers rapping about I only get sleep when I'm flying across the country to my next venue. So are you willing to know, or are you willing to remove yourself from what society says when they pat you on the back? Good job. You look good. You look like you really got it, but you're miserable inside.
Look like money.
It look like money. Yeah. So it must be money.
You never know what somebody's masking and all that stuff that you said. I know there's examples to support any perspective, right? So some it's a reward and the thing doesn't mean anything to them. They just like having it. If it goes away, they're cool with it, right? Some don't have anything otherwise, and those things mean everything to them because it represents. It's a forward-facing persona of who they want people to see them as, but they might be dying inside, right? Yeah. So that is a very important takeaway that whenever you arrive at what you call success, that it closely aligns with what you thought it was going to be. Most people find it differently, right? It's the whole ladder to success leaned against the wrong building. You climbed the ladder.
Yeah.
That's successful. You did it. It took work. It took strength. It took fortitude to do that. But then you got to the top. You was like, oh man, I was supposed to be on that building over there. Right?
Right.
And are you ready to climb another building, or do you just stay where you are? And that's one thing about perspective, man. It's like fast and slow are measures of the same thing.
Right. Right.
Somebody that runs a 4.340 versus somebody that runs a 4.6, now you got to look at what position they in. Or he fast 4. He fast 4. Or somebody runs a 4.8.
Yep.
But he a lineman. But he's fast 4, right? 4. So it matters. The context and all that matters. I just hope that that I'm demonstrating that process. And I know I need to be more vocal about it. I don't even think my kids could tell you what I believe success is for me.
Really? How important is that to you though? Would you like them to know? Do you have inside of you a concrete measuring stick? When I see this, if I see this, to me, I am successful. First, it's a multi-part question. So let me stop there and ask that first. Do you? And you don't have to go into detail if you don't want to what that is.
I got the oil slicks. Get out of this one. That's part of my ebook. Like that's an exercise in the ebook is to write a purpose statement, but it weaves in like what all that entails and how you know it's successful, that kind of thing. So as I was writing the book, I was like, I need to do these exercises too. Yes. Like, these are not just good ideas. These are things I need to that I need to do. So it's no, because if I had it, I'd pull it up and show you.
Yeah.
I don't have a purpose statement, and because of what I attached to success before in the corporate space, I'm very careful of how I define it now. And I'm reworking it. A lot of it is related to how my children turn out.
Yeah.
And that could be a cop-out to some degree. But I'm very like hyper aware, super sensitive to, because I took years from them and put it toward what I call success. Can we still, like, is there still enough runway to successfully get that plane off? So it's a very interesting question. It's not a tap dance. The answer is no.
Right.
But it's also been in my spirit because it's actually in the book to work through that as a challenge.
That believe it or not to be cliche, that brings me to what I feel like is my closing takeaway.
Right.
Now that you have it, now that you've arrived, What are you going to do with it? That's an active question that I ask my son.
Yeah.
I would like for my family, my friends, my circles to adapt that practice as well, because it helps. And what I mean by it helps is our children will go around thinking they know what success looks like or feels like, right? So now you have these things, because at their age, just so we can be honest, a lot of it is going to be physical, tangible things. I want this kind of car. I want this kind of house. That's fine. I want this much money. That's fine. When you get those things, what are you going to do with it? And the importance of that question is it's really built around happiness.
Right.
Because there's no way, I can't ask you now, you think that's going to make you happy? They don't know.
Right.
Even if they say yes, if they say no, they don't know. You don't know. So what is your approach or takeaway, or what would you instill so about enjoying the journey, so that when you arrive wherever you are trying to arrive, to try to equip them to be in a happy place when they get there?
So the exercise for me, and I go through this throughout the day, throughout the week, is and then what?
Yeah.
I wanna do this, right? Then what?
Yeah.
I want to make this amount, and then what? Right? At some point you run out, and you either run out or you realize how futile the actual goal was, because there's nothing after it. And I think that's what purpose answers.
Right.
So again, like writing that purpose statement is, okay, I want 1 million people to hit a podcast, and then what?
And then what?
I want this exposure. I want to be able to, I want to do this kind of philanthropy. Then then what? So I'm trying to get me out of these fictional things that I know I can get.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so how do I, like, what's beyond that?
Right.
I want to move in this house, and then what? Like, I want to,
right.
If we could only, then what? And it may sound weird or corny to some people, but that's a real, I didn't go far enough down that path when I was identifying success before.
That's why I was going to say, sounds like accountability to me. Because now, if you have a bunch of starts and no stops, no finishes, it's like how people say, if you don't have a goal in mind, how do you know when you've arrived, right? So if you're just obtaining wealth and you're not really headed towards a goal, or you don't have an objective, something you pointed out, me sitting here listening to you right now in real time, I don't have a purpose statement on my life. You understand? I've done purpose statements with my eyes closed for business and businesses. Yeah. I've done it. It's necessary because, again, what are you doing?
Right.
We look how we look over the simple things in business. We know we can do from A to Z to make a business successful. You can apply those same principles, those same practices to your life, and your life will be successful by your own standards. You understand?
The most important business.
Right. So now I don't have a purpose statement on my life.
Then we got actions.
Right.
Then we got do outs.
Yeah. So I got some work. So but in that same breath, you've equipped me with a tool I can use to develop my purpose statement by saying, and then what? Because I got a bucket list.
Yeah.
And
that's cool. I'm not saying nothing you do, even if it's a vain thing, like it doesn't yield anything but satisfaction in that moment. I'm not saying that stuff is not.
No.
I don't do that.
Right. But now
where am I going?
I gotta give me a plan with that thing. Like when I buy this tractor,
right?
What you gonna do with this tractor, my boy?
Then what?
Everybody laughing, man. I tell people they like, that's country. I don't care.
Right.
Well, give me a tractor enclosed with the glass with the AC. What you gonna do with that?
Yeah. And if there's no and then what, but you still want to do it,
yeah,
push it to the side of, well, that's not success. That's just a thing.
That's just a thing.
That's just an achievement.
Yep.
That's not necessarily. Yeah, that's not the ultimate success, and that's like, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I
like things. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
But yeah,
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're looking like on that thing, but I feel it. I feel it, man. I liked our flow on this one. I'm biased. I like our flow on every episode.
Podcast I know
it's natural. But what you got for the people? What's a takeaway or something you like to share with the people?
Be open to your children seeing you go through the process.
Yes, Lord.
Right? It was the whole we talked about before. It's like take your kids on vacation, but you tell them to go to sleep and you wake them up when we get there.
Yeah.
And nobody knows how you got there. Right. I have gone through life like that. This is the house. Oh, that's cool. It's big. Right. Things are just showing up. But there's no, if I were not to be here, they would know I did a lot of things. They wouldn't necessarily know how or why I did all of the things.
Right.
So that's what I'm working on. And I would, like I said, I would challenge, even thinking through that develops me in a way.
Yeah.
Because it makes me more mindful and more conscious of how I'm making decisions. Because I used to be loose. Used to be loose, especially when resources were abundant.
Right.
Oh, we tried.
Yeah.
It's frivolous.
Look at this shot.
Frivolous.
Who cares?
But now it's like you got to be a lot more strategic,
Yeah.
and like they need to see the things that changing. But Pops is up for the challenge. He responded.
I love it. Me personally, more so than anything, I feel like there's a major monumental milestone that has been accomplished. And what I mean by that is I often speak to people about time stamping. Timestamp life, timestamp memories with your family, your kids, your brother. Speaking of, my brother has an ebook that he's created.
Finally.
And I've been blessed with a copy of it to look at. Y'all look at y'all turn.
Yeah.
So I'm working through it. I wasn't going to speak on it until I made it all the way through, but I'm happy, I'm proud, and I'm impressed.
Appreciate that.
And
man.
if you're the biggest fish in the pond, it's time to seek the ocean.
Get to it.
Surround yourself with people that make you say, there's more I can do in my life.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that. That's not envy. That's not jealousy. That's genuine happiness and pride in the level of friendships that I've acquired in my life that I'm blessed to have. So got anything else for the people?
Yeah, I mean, it coincides with one of my favorite posts. I put it up quarterly. It's I reside in the circle of winners. We celebrate each other often.
Absolutely.
We
Like,
each
share,
other.
and subscribe.
Yep. We appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace.
Peace.
The pew. Pew, man, put that little gun down. Pew, put that little gun down.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just pull it out and count for nothing when I'm feeling great. Give my baby.